is perfectly aligned with our district's mission to support parents in the success of their children's education. We are thrilled to welcome our special guest from the Hispanic Federation tonight, Representative Joanna Lopez from Florida House District 43, and Mr. Gabriel Lozada, the Digital Communications Coordinator for the Florida Hispanic Federation, who will guide us through this session. Tonight, guys, I am so excited because you're going to learn all about college financial applications, college admissions applications, career exploration and planning, how to meet deadlines and requirements, and how to access scholarships, health services, and tools for economic empowerment and well-being. This collaboration truly touches my heart. It reinforces the work our teachers are doing in schools and strengthens the connection between families and organizations like the Hispanic Federation, who share our commitment to educational success and community empowerment. I am so proud to be a bridge between these efforts. Tonight, I'm joined by two colleagues, Gladys and Gilberto, who will be in the chat to post directions for you to access closed captioning in over 150 languages, like you can see here on the screen, which you can access by clicking on the CC in the bottom left-hand corner of your computer screen, or by accessing the three dots at the bottom of your phone. With that, I wish you all a fantastic presentation, and I turn it over to Representative Lopez. Good luck.
Good evening. This is an amazing time to share with my OCPS families. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I think that I need the slides to show up in my device.
We see them on our end. It says Pathways to Academic Excellence, Session 1.
I cannot see it in mine. I'm so sorry about that, but I just see the Parent Academy need translation and different languages translating that question.
Let's give it just a second to catch up. We're viewing Mr. Lozada's screen. You can always try to reshare, Mr. Lozada, but I do see your screen.
Perfect. Let me try to share this presentation.
Now I can see it.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
So good evening. I think that the first part is Gabriel. I think you have the microphone.
Yeah, hello guys. Thank you so much for joining in. First of all, I will explain a little bit about Hispanic Federation. It's the national premier Latino nonprofit membership. We're a third party, so we are apolitic. We are organization founded in 1990, and we try to empower Hispanic communities as well as all communities. We believe on work that focuses on education, health, immigration, civic engagement, economic empowerment, and environmental justice. We at Hispanic Federation, this is our team. We are a nationwide organization, and here is the Florida team. And I will talk a little bit about some incentives that we have. So the people that watch the whole presentation, we have this incentive to try to motivate you a little bit more. So I will Hispanic Federation will be providing to the persons that are eligible parents, guardians of high school students, grades 9 to 12, who register and complete the workshop. The incentive are 20 gift card plus some Sony earbuds. Who is not eligible? Anyone who does not meet the criteria above, and past participants who've already received these stipends. Did some other details that are important as well. The eligibility is verified via the OCPS attendance list, and the pickup of this incentive is on the Fall College and the Career Fair and Lake Buena Vista High School on September 20. If you can attend, you are welcome to call the 844-432 9832 to arrange another options. And before we begin, let me introduce you to Joanna Lopez, our wonderful speaker today, Representative Joanna Lopez, State Representative for Florida House District 43. She was first elected in 2018 after serving on the Orange County School Board. Representative Lopez has more than 20 years of experience teaching, and she's an award-winning Spanish teacher from Colonial High School and studied at University of Puerto Rico, Inter-American University. Through her career, she has focused on education, mentoring young people, and supporting the community. In the legislature, she continued to work for fair education, affordable housing, workers' rights, and civil rights. So you have the mic, Representative.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for this opportunity. You can ask questions, and I think that Ms. Milano or Gabriel can help me if, so we can follow up with the questions maybe on every,
Sure.
slide.
We're gonna keep, track of the questions. Don't worry.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for being here. I have to start saying that every story is very extremely important when we are thinking in going to college. Most of the time, our students think about their challenges or maybe mistakes that they made, and maybe feel kind of uncomfortable. But in reality, when you fix those situations and you improve in your behavior and you improve in your grades and you improve in giving back to the community, is a very inspiring story that you can share when you are trying to get into college. And that's why, if you go to the next slide, Gabriel. And that's why I always talk about different students that I have at Colonial High School. They have different journeys. They all of them are very successful, but they have different experiences, and their stories are extremely, different. If we think about Diana Mejia, when she was my student at Colonial High School, I remember that she struggled a lot with, at that moment it was the FSA, now it's FAST. And I remember that she felt very discouraged and, and taking the SAT and ACT and keep failing in the test. And the last opportunity that she has before she, the last opportunity on her senior year, she told me, I'm going to try. This is the last time. I don't know what is going to happen if I'm not graduate. I have a lot of dreams. She wants to go to Valencia and she wants to get her bachelor's. So, she passed the test, by 1 point, but she passed. She graduated from Colonial High School, not with the best grades, but she went to Valencia. Immediately when she graduated from Colonial High School, she started working because her mom was a single mom and she needs to help her mom to cover the expenses. And she has 4 more sisters. So she worked full time and also went to Valencia. And I remember, Diana calling me because she felt, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to finish this. This is hard for me. Say, Diana, one day at a time. You're doing great. You don't have to get straight A's, but you have to be responsible and try to restructure your time. So she graduated from Valencia. She transferred to UCF. And I remember that she said, I love education and I got inspired because of you, but I don't think that's the path that I want to take now. And I said, so what do you like? And she told me, I love social media. So, and I'm saying this because sometimes as adults, we criticize our youth because they're a lot of their times, in social media. But in this case, because she likes social media, I try to inspire her in take a route or advise her and say, so why you don't study communication? And she said, oh my God, with this accent. I said, you know what? Accent doesn't matter. You have to be responsible. You need discipline. And I know you could do it. And she graduated from UCF, and that's why I have Diana there. So, her journey, it might be similar to one of our journeys or our students' journey, but I want to share that one. Giovanna is my daughter. Giovanna graduated also from Colonial, and she got a scholarship in soccer full scholarship, but she got injured and she got very disappointed, a lot of struggles emotionally. She came back to Orlando and she decided to join the Navy. She served the Navy for 6 years, came back in January and said, I have to finish. That's my dream. I need to go back. I need to go back, and I know I could do it. So she finished in Valencia, and then when she finished Valencia in May, she said, I wanted to start at UCF during summer, but they're not allowing me to go to summer school, so I'm gonna lose my benefits during summer. So I said, well, you can apply to so many others, universities. So stay in Valencia, take other courses, and why you don't try Ivy League's university? So, oh my God, do you think so? Well, it's a choice. Just try, and if it's not, it's not, and if yes, it's yes, But I know that your story is impactful. You have to share your story. You're a daughter of a single mom. All the struggles that you have in the Navy. So share that story in your essay. They're gonna interview you, and you have to be transparent and talk to them about your challenges. So she was accepted first to a program in Yale University where she got inspired with other veterans nationally, and then after that, she said, I think that I know which university I want, and she applied for Dartmouth and she was accepted. That's another Ivy League. She was very excited. Now she's extremely happy. It's another route. Takes so long. If you compare her journey to Diana, it's longer. And I want you to be focused in what is your journey and what you want to accomplish. Not everybody's gonna go directly to the university. Maybe you have other dreams, technical college, or maybe you want to join, armed forces. We have to analyze every situation. And Samuel Vilches, ESOL student, did not feel comfortable with his accent either. He wants to be a valedictorian. At that moment, he felt very uncomfortable with his accent, and he asked me, do you think that I could be a valedictorian? And that was in 10th grade. So in 10th grade is the perfect time. I always think that is before, but when you see a student that is focused in how to become in one of the top 10 students, you need to create that time frame to strategize in how to accomplish that specific goal. So he became a valedictorian. He went to Princeton University. And when he finished Princeton University, he also received an award because he helped me and became school board member. So that was kind of a project in terms of not having any type of experience, and mobilize so many students to get a school board member. And then after that, when he came, he ended in saying, I would love to have my master's degree in Oxford University. Oxford University is considered one of the best universities in the world, and it's very selective. It's extremely selective, and Samuel was accepted as well to Oxford University, finished straight A student, still in Oxford University. He studied in public schools, Colonial High School. So here we go again. Maybe he was faster than Gio and Diana, but every story is important. And we have to encourage our children and be the lawyer of our children. We have to talk to them. We have to make them feel realized, and sometimes if we don't have this conversation because we are working so much, or we are single mom, single dad, or maybe a grandmother, it's more difficult, but we have to take that time to help the school system. This is a teamwork. It's not only the teachers, it's also the parents. Any question? I see a lot of we're getting into if there are any question, feel free to let me know and I can follow up with the questions as well.
We having some question. We having, helping answer those. I think no questions about, where you're presenting. I think we're having, Bob.
Perfect, perfect. So when to start looking into financial aid opportunities? As early as possible. It is recommended to start looking into post-high school alternatives when your child enters the 10th grade. If you start looking now at all of the opportunity, I know that it's going to be easier when they are in 11th grade, on 12th grade. Every opportunity of scholarship have different requisites, so we have to be careful. Not everybody can apply for a scholarship. Sometimes is from 10 to 12. Sometimes you have to be a senior. Sometimes you have to be in the university. But at least you are used to read about this. You have already a plan to see when are you going to apply for those scholarship. I remember Samuel when he got the scholarship of Bill Gates. I said, well, he's done. It's $500,000, you know. So, and he said, you know what? But I think that I know the trick to get scholarship. And for him, was a hobby. I remember him staying in my classroom because at that moment we did not have like laptop for every student, but we have computers at the end of the classroom. Say, can I use that computer? Of course. And he's staying after school, just keep going and keep adding more scholarship. It is extremely important that you see all the opportunities that we have with scholarships. When we talk about local community options, I was doing my research and we have different options here in Florida and in Orlando. For example, College Access this year, this past year, they gave to Evans High School graduates and Jones High School graduates full scholarship to Valencia. We also have Osceola County, we also have Orlando Alumni Chapter Scholarship, Rotary Club of Orlando Foundation Scholarship. We also have JFS Orlando Covering Family Scholarship. This is for students for Orange County, Osceola, and Seminole. We also have Orlando Youth Alliance Scholarship, Orlando Housing Authority Scholarships, and Greater Orlando Area High School Grant Scholarship. This is with the community. With the federal level options, it's more about FAFSA. That is more for, somebody is not finding the CC link. When we talk about the federal option, is the FAFSA. FAFSA provide not only the Pell Grant, the money for the tuition, but also study and work, also loans. So it's different options, but it's only for citizen and residents. We also have a scholarship for merit and achievement that is based in the GPA and the ACT, SAT results. So based on that, you're gonna have different options. So I encourage you to learn more about Bright Future. We also have corporate options. Sometimes you think, okay, corporate, what that means. So, Bank of America, for example, Walmart, for example, Lockheed Martin. So look into these big, huge corporations because most of the time they have scholarships, and you can also find you can do your research and find this type of opportunity. We also have, the Puerto Rican Parade, for example. They do it here in Orlando. They also provide more than 10 scholarships. We also have Hospitality and Lodging Association. We also have the Hispanic Fund. So we have options. And one of the questions that I always have when I'm doing this type of presentation is, do I have to return the money? No, you don't have to return the money. So let's go to the next slide. What can you do to prepare your child for college? Despite the fact that the application for admission to a university or college is commonly beginning in the 11th grade, there are several things you can do to get your child on track for a college education. Next, Gabriel. You have to stay informed. So if you stay informed about the studies and the opportunities that you have in the school, talk to the media specialists, talk to the teachers, send emails to the counselor, which opportunities my son or my daughter has, so they can be more strong in what they're gonna do in the future when he or she will graduate. This is information that we need to talk about, not only in high school, but when we talk in elementary school about different professions, we are inspiring them to study in the future. So that's something that is also helpful, and also, sometimes in one of the presentations I was speaking about social media. If you're not going to be a cosmetologist, don't spend the whole time in the phone just looking for makeup, unless you're going to study that. And we love makeup, the makeup platforms, or how to do this or that or whatever. But try to be intentional in what you are watching. You love to watch TV, so be intentional. What do you want to study? What do you like the most? So same thing with Instagram, same thing with TikTok, because this is what we see most of the time with our children. If we don't have that type of control, and I saw a lot of parents with giving iPads even to babies less than a year. So we have to be, careful in how we work this out. So, because something that surprised me when I went to Harvard for this training, they have the chalkboard, old school chalkboards. Okay, so they move the chalkboard and use the chalk. We all have computers when we are watching the training and sharing in the training, but we still need this small portion or aspect of the traditional learning path. So encourage him or her to take academically challenging classes. This is extremely important because, as you know, honor classes and AP classes will give them a weighted GPA, and that's what the universities are going to look into it. So very extremely important. And sometimes, most of the parents, call me, I don't understand why my son have straight A's and the GPA of his friend is higher with worse grades. It's not, maybe it's because your son only have regular classes and his friend has AP honor classes. So we have to work that out. And I'm not saying that we have to encourage every student to take AP classes all the way, because we also want them to feel comfortable and to learn. But we don't want to create a situation that they feel challenging emotionally and having anxieties and panic attacks. And we have to also understand that we want our children to be successful, feel realized, but also feel happy and welcome in the school system, but at a pace that they can handle it so they can be successful. As we talked at the beginning, everybody has a different journey, and that doesn't mean that everybody's not straight A's. And this is our society. Our society is not a straight A society. So ACE courses is also very important. It's like IB, same thing. Those are challenging courses that give them a better weighted GPA. Okay, next. What you can do to prepare your child for college. Make sure you maintain a good academic record, GPA ideally 3 points. We always have to emphasize that, we don't like C. We try not to get those C. If you're going to get a C, maybe in an AP class, might be not that bad, but in honor classes or regular classes, a C is going to drop the GPA. But for example, if you have a student with AP Spanish, for example, and we have a student that have a C in AP Spanish, but we have another student with an A in regular Spanish. It's 4 points with that A because it's regular Spanish 1. But in AP, even with the C, because count by 2 points, but it's 6 credits on that class, the student is going to get how many credits? 2 times 6, 12, versus 4 points in the regular class. So extremely important that we also have to understand that the AP classes and honor classes are more challenging than the regular classes. And if you see your son or your daughter struggling on those classes, it is extremely important that you communicate with the teacher, try to find ways in the school or outside of the school to improve those grades. For me, the communication is vital. Sometimes the teacher want your, no, all the time, the teacher want the students to be successful. That's going to talk about their performance as well. So I think that every 9 weeks, at least, we should write an email to the teacher and to the counselor to maintain that relationship and build that relationship with the counselor and the teacher. And I know when you maintain that communication, they will remember your son and your daughter more than anybody else, because you're keep talking and talking about how to help your son and your daughter. The motivation at home. Start talking to your children about college today. Most of the time we don't talk about this until they are in high school. I think that visiting UCF, that's, let's walk around UCF. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Or talk hypothetically about another person. You don't have to talk directly about them. So they sometimes, children's all the children are different. So there are certain children that you can speak directly, other feel overwhelmed or stressed out. So depends the personality of that child. You have to at least find ways to talk about college in a positive way. Never comparing your son or your daughter with nobody else. That's not a way to motivate nobody. It's everybody have their own pace. Remember, at the beginning, the journey, everybody have different journey. We want children that feel happy and realize. When you have a high self-esteem, you feel happy about learning and you don't feel that pressure. It's easier to absorb the material. That's why it's so important to understand, the mental challenges that we have. They have all of this information in the computer, talking directly or indirectly about how they should look, and it's not fair because we all look differently, and it's amazing that we are different. So your son or daughter should understand that his or her education is extremely important to you and the rest of your family. When they and I also talk about my story. My mom cleaned houses for living. She only have a sixth grade education, but she always emphasized the importance of me going to the university and study. And she said, I don't want you to clean houses for living. I want you to go to the university. And for me, she's my hero, because even though she did not have an education, she inspired me to educate myself. So in this type of presentation, I always say, what? We have to respect our parents. If never compare yourself with your parent. I'm doing this because you did that when you have that age. No, that's not the right way. They want to make a change in you. They're trying to help you. So, or your grandmother or your aunt, the person that is in charge of your education, but also it's to the entire family, and it's further. It's about the society. When we achieve our dreams, educational and professional goals, the society also benefited by all of these good things that you're achieving. So think about that, how to approach the conversation based in different personalities. And if you need help, it's okay also to find a psychologist. I strongly believe in that. So it's extremely important to look into mental health as well, so we can have this, align and achieve their own journey, not comparing, remember. Next, Gabriel. We have college readiness courses, and is we have fixed that word, Gabriel. So we have these programs are of a great help for students learn more about the college path. Find out what college prep courses are available when your child is in middle school and early high school. Most students start in these types of programs in ninth grade. So why it is important to take that type of courses or talk about how is how the post-secondary education looks, is because they feel more comfortable. It's something that they're not, when they're seniors, then they don't feel that they're gonna go to something that they did not know anything, and the risk is, the stress is more deep. But if we start talking and we start exposing them to this type of courses, they're gonna feel more comfortable and more able to talk about it. They want to visit the schools, they want to see the dorms, so it is extremely important to do that. We have a lot of universities and colleges here in Central Florida, so take those trips, private and publics, and also we have even Orange County Technical College, that is also another opportunity to get a certification while you're studying in high school, and it's free. So you can take advantage of that as well. Next. Promote multicultural awareness. It's because we live in this society that is very diverse. So obviously, the more we know, the more about different cultures, more successful we are, because we know, okay, so they're laughing because this is, for example, we laugh about everything in Puerto Rico. We even do the strikes by singing. If we don't like something about the government, we go into the street and we dance when we are striking against the government or the office of the government. But this is our culture. So every culture is different. And before we judge, we should have conversations, and we have differences even within our own Latino community. So we have different ways of communicating, the body language, the way we dress, the color we use. So it's good to know how to understand and how to respect certain boundaries without offending anybody, and always being ourselves and being proud of who we are and embrace who we are, how we look, and respect everybody. So try to visit museums. I remember I went here to the Museum of Dali in Pittsburgh. Amazing. I saw Da Vinci paints, and it was it was my dream. I said, oh my God, I would love to go to France. But I didn't have to go to France because I saw the supper here in Tampa, close to Tampa, in Dali Museum. So expose, your children to have all of those experience, travel around further than your neighborhood, because there's a lot of history in the state of Florida, and we can learn so much by talking about what we see, even about the beaches, about structures, about even here in Orlando, we have museums. I went to the museum of flowers. I forgot the name. It was so great to went there and see pictures and see the story behind of this family, that they even have a lot of contributions to here in Central Florida. So let's have those visits, try to be a little bit away from the routine so we can be more inspiring what to study. When you do that, when you do internship, maybe your daughter or your son is going to say, you know what, I love to work with nature. Or maybe he can say, I love, the seniors, I think they're so alone. I would love to be a person who works with the seniors, or maybe with children. I want to be a pediatrician. So the more exposure to different environments, in safe environments, the more inspired they can be. Next. Plan your future. Many careers require a college education. When choosing an educational institution, the student should research and make sure to choose the best option according to his or her plans. The difference between careers and specialization. Careers is an occupation or profession. Specialization, it is the specific subject you choose to study. It is often related to the selected career. Okay? So maybe the career is you want to be a doctor, but maybe the specialization is pre-med, or maybe, let's see, a dermatologist. So it's different, the career and the specialization. Maybe you want to become a teacher, and the specialization maybe is education in elementary school. Okay, next. I saw a lot of comments in Spanish. So do we have a huge crowd of Spanish speaking? We can provide this in Spanish as well if they want to take it in Spanish.
Yeah, we are letting everybody know that we're gonna have this session again on October 7th in Spanish, and we are sharing, the link for registration, and Gilberto and I are, supporting those questions in Spanish.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. So, how to choose a career? The student should decide what his or her career goals are, because that will help him or her identify more clearly the opportunities available. A career goal may be a specific job, such as becoming a doctor or a teacher, or it may be to get started in a field such as medicine or education. It is important to know if there will be job opportunities in the career the student chooses. So, and depends as well, because sometimes, my bachelor's degree is in education, Hispanic studies. I never, and I remember it was in Puerto Rico, but I took one more year of education so I can do, classes, and get my teacher certification, just in case I want to be a Spanish teacher. So, because my dream was to keep going studying Hispanic studies, I went to the university and teach literature. It was my passion at that moment. But in reality, I never expected to be where I am right now. So, never discourage your son or daughter because they wanted to study something that you think they're not going to have a good salary. I think that if they're good in what they're doing, there's a lot of doors open. They can even create their own path. So try to encourage him to study. Trying not to criticize what they're thinking in studying if they want to go to the university, because they might change. And they can say, you know what, I remember this conversation with you, and now that I'm speaking with different, friends, so now I feel more into this, and they can transfer to another department. So encourage them to study whatever they're saying that they want to study in the university. Maybe they might change based on the experience. Sometimes they're afraid, or feel this fear for whatever reason, like Diana. No, her fear about studying communication was her accent. And I remember when she graduated and she said, well, now I'm looking for a job, what can I do? I say, why you don't try in construction companies? Most of the time that I speak with construction companies, the majority of them need a communications department, and this is something very in. And one day she called me, she said, I have a job. I said, where? Well, in a construction company. So now I'm the director of of communication for so and so. So she created the department of communication. So we never know. So we have to be very supportive with our children if they want to study. Next. Plan for the future. The only way to know if a career is right for you is to learn more about it. What skills does the student have? What classes does he or she excel in? What are their strengths and values? Do they prefer to work alone or with others? Think about values. Does the student work well under pressure? Do they want to help others? Do they want to contribute to society? And those questions have different answers, and there is no wrong answer for the questions, but it's extremely important that they analyze their personality in order to find the right career and where they're going to study and what they're going to study, where and where, because sometimes even the place, also influence. When my daughter was looking for the place that she wants to the place she wants to study, She said, you know what, I like this one because they have a great nature, and I need the nature. I don't want to be in the middle of a city. I don't want that. I want to be focused. So, it's different things. Maybe another person saying, no, I cannot be away from all of the fun, parks and buildings and train, so depends, everybody's different, and every journey is different, and every goal as well. So next. So, and this is just as an example, and you can create your own ways of identifying, what type of skills you have or intelligences. So in this case, we have Howard Gardner. He created these theories about multiple intelligences, and he said that human beings have all of these intelligences. Maybe one more than other one, and there's a lot of surveys in the internet that you can take to see which type of intelligences you have the most. You might be naturalistic, very strong in naturalistic. Maybe you are the person who, since you were a baby, like small, a child, you collect rocks or leaves, and comparing leaves. Maybe that is because you have the naturalistic intelligence. Maybe you love diaries. Maybe it's because you have the intrapersonal intelligence, or maybe because you have this logical, mathematical mentality. You're very objective because you see everything in numbers, in measurements. So, is there something wrong with for having one type of intelligence than other ones? No, is because we are different, and that's amazing. But if you see in the internet, you can do a survey to see what type of intelligences you have, and then after that you can do a research and look into professions under those intelligences, and you can see all hundred or thousand of professions related to that specific intelligence. So for me, I always talk about spatial because I'm so bad in spatial. Spatial, if you're good in maps and you're good, extremely good playing PlayStation, let me tell you, you have spatial intelligence. I remember PlayStation with my children. I stay in the same place. So I knew that the spatial intelligence in me is very off. So, and it's okay. I don't need it. So I try to improve. But the reality is that, when I grew up, I did not have a lot of exposure to that type of games, or maybe in the house that my mom did not raise me in providing, type of games or to practice my spatial intelligence. So, everything for a reason, but try to do your research and try to take the survey to see which professions you feel more identified, or your son. Okay, next. So when we talk about interests and skills of our students, so let's say student interest may change over time, and that's perfectly normal. I remember when my daughter told me that she wants to be a chef. Okay, so when she told me that, she was maybe in seventh grade. No, she was in second grade, and she was 7 years old. And so, okay, that's good. Okay, so let's help me to cook. Let's do something. But you know what? She wanted to be a chef at that moment because there's a game called Cooking Mama, something like that, in Nintendo DS, and she loves to cut, but everything was in the game. Now I'm saying, okay, Gianna, so what happened with the chef? You're not cooking, so everything changed. Don't say anything. Chef, yes, we have a lot of famous chef here in the United States, so, and around the world. So I heard somebody asking about the link for the survey, and there's a lot of survey. The people, they can email me if they want, and we can send links. But if they write multiple intelligences surveys, even in Spanish, inteligencias múltiples, ellos lo pueden conseguir. They can find it in Spanish as well. So think about the topics, industries, or organizations that interest You right now. Is salary your main priority, or are you looking for something else? Research the types of jobs available in those areas and reflect on whether they align with your values and skills. Remember, exploring different career paths will help you decide what to study and how to invest your time in college. So, and I, I also think that when you see those questions for students, you as a parent can also create games with your children. At the age in elementary school, they're more able to play with you, so you can create games to talk about professions, to talk about interests. So that is extremely important that you have that type of interaction. And also, our children love the TikTok, Instagram. They're not from Facebook, but there's a lot of good TikToks and Instagram based in professions and colleges. If you see something like that, you can send it here and there. What do you think about this video? It's 2-minute video saying this is the worst jobs, or the worst paying jobs, or the best paying jobs. Try to also be a little, if you are the parent that allow them to be in social media, so you can do that. If not, but in a traditional way, you can also expose them to visit university and create your own college fair, through virtually or in person. Okay, every month we're gonna visit a university, and we have a lot, public and private. So student skill, what skills do you have and which ones would you like to apply? How to teach, research, write, manage, direct, or advise. This is important information when it comes to figuring out what you want to study. They need to do that. And most of the time what I see is that the majority of our students wait till the end. Wait until they're in 12th grade to think about all of this, and it's overwhelming because the graduation, the senior, all the competitions that they have, all the fun parts also. So it's like they don't have time. They think that they're done, but in reality, it's just the beginning. Next. How much time we have? I don't want to. We're good.
It's 6:52, and the webinar, the workshop is scheduled until 8. We are fine with time.
Perfect. So we have different types of universities, and we have the public or private. Okay, we have UCF if is public. We have Rollins is private. Okay, so we also have community college, like for example Valencia College. Okay, but Valencia College, it used to be only 2-year college, but now Valencia also have bachelors. So that's another thing that we have to take in consideration because of prices and accessibility in case you live close to Valencia. And also technical college. I think that Orange County Technical College is one of the best in the state. No bias. I'm a fan of OCPS. So, but I visited them. I saw them, the heart of the teachers, the people in charge, the outcomes, the stories, with the certification. And if our students want to get a certification, why to wait until they graduated if they can do it while they're studying in high school? So we have a lot of universities here in Central Florida. We have Rollins, UCF, Kaiser. We have a lot. We have La Politécnica. We have Ana Jiménez. We have Inter-American University of Puerto Rico. So there's a lot of opportunities. Florida Technical College as well in Osceola. So we have a lot of those opportunities, but prices means a lot. And if you don't have enough support or scholarships, you have to think about that as well. So it's not only what I want to study, it's also how much budget do I need and what I'm going to do. Can I take loans, how much loans I'm going to take? Because if I'm going to study this type of profession, this is what I'm going to get annually, and the cost of living is going to be this. So at the end, this is what happens. So that type of conversation needs to happen as well. so you can invest wisely in the type of university that you want to be part of. So, for me, getting good grades is the key to have merit scholarships that most of the time even pay 100% of the tuition. When we talk at the beginning about Samuel, for example, for being a valedictorian and getting all of these, grades and points in the SAT and ACT, give him a full scholarship in Princeton. That's a private university, it's extremely expensive. But, we have to be realistic and also try to talk to the counselor. Okay, always try to talk to that counselor at least every 9 weeks. He's gonna guide you in how, or he or she is gonna guide you in how to address and achieve that goal. Next. Attend college fair. You learn about academic programs, extracurricular activities, financial aid, admissions requirements, have the opportunity to speak to representatives. Let me talk about college fair. I love the college fair for OCPS. They do a college fair every year in the Kia Center, only for seniors. My recommendations: don't wait to be a senior to do that uh, research with the colleges, because you can do a very idealistic college fair. You can go into the internet. Let me visit online all of these universities. Prioritize what do you want, and then after that you talk to your mom and said, okay, this is what I'm interested and I would like to visit. When you visit, you can do an appointment. You can talk to a representative. They can give you an individual tour, and they sit down with you and they talk to you and they give you information. So my recommendation: don't wait last minute. Okay, try to be intentional and try to do your research. Okay, strategize and try to visit. Make a call. Okay, make a call, because I know they're open. They want you to be there. Okay, because that's money for them. Okay, as well. So it's recruitment. That's part of their job. It's like a business. So for me, even here in the state of Florida, but even out of the state of Florida. So what is your GPA. Never be discouraged. Sometimes your story move these universities to accept you because of your story. Because if you can justify why your grades drop in a certain year on a certain semester, and you improve your grades dramatically, even though you don't have the weighted GPA, but you can show in that essay and those recommendation letters the type of student you are, you have an opportunity. Don't give up. Okay. Why the extracurricular activities are so important? When you are filling out the application for the university, if you have okay, you're a good student, you have a great weighted GPA, but the only thing that you do was study. So that's kind of easy. So you have to show them that even though you have those good grades, you do more than that. You help your mom, you take care of children, you do internships, you were part of the Latinos in Action or the Honor Society or SGA. So it is extremely important, the community hours. So the extracurricular activities, the community hours is not only to get a core, it's more to accept, to be accepted in the university, and also giving back to the community more than having a core. So extremely important. Remember that now, if you have a job, they count that as a community hours as well. I remember that before it's only volunteer hours, but now if you have a job, that count as a community hours. Also, if you help in the church, those are community hours. If you take care of your siblings, that is community hours. If you help your dad to do the loan, the loan every month, that is community hours. If you go and do an internship with elected officials in the hospital, you can, we even provide virtual community hours in my office, and we give our students recommendation letters as well. So if you want to do virtual because you don't want to, you have to take care of somebody, your siblings or your pets, whatever in the house, you can do virtual community hours as well. So if you have any question, let me know. No questions, ask.
I think we have some question on, our team having, answering those very well. I think we are good with questions.
I saw something about watch siblings. Yes, for taking care of the siblings, that is community hours. Virtual, you can do virtual community hours. In my case, they do presentations. We teach them how to draft bills and how to file bills, how to ask for appropriations, and also they host different events with affordable housing, with youth. So depends in which session they are part of my internship program. We provided different opportunities. My daughter was told. She's saying that my daughter was told that serving at church is not community hour. It is community hours. Even the pastor can sign the paper. My advice, OCPS created a very nice form for community
Yes.
hours where you write the name of the organization, the contact person, the phone number, the amount of hours, and then signature. But yes, if you go to a church and you're cleaning or you are passing away papers, of course it's community hours. Yes, you get the hour when you have kids. The person needs to. How do you get the hours if they're taking care of the siblings? You can sign. The parent can sign, and it's proof because they know this is the children, and they have to write an essay at the end. I don't know if they change it, but they used to write an essay in the experience through the community hours that they were doing. So in the essay, they describe how they take care of the siblings, what they did for the siblings. Most of the time, I used to have a lot of high schoolers picking up their brothers and sisters from the elementary school. So I remember that and saying, no, I was absent because my brother was sick and my mom needs to work. So yes, hold on, I think especially. Thank you, Gilberto, for following up with questions as well. So next, Gabriel. Speak with representatives. This is when you go to the university because you are doing um your own fair, visiting schools. Don't go by surprise. Try to do the appointment so they take that time to guide you, give you a tour, and explain to you. But be ready with questions, take notes, sign up to be on the mailing list. One of the things that I recommended right now is there a certain university that you think your son might be interested. You can sign up for the newsletter and you can see when they have different events, and you can go there with your son or daughter. Pick up brochures when you go to the school. And sometimes when you, in the newsletter, when you write your information, sometimes they also send you catalogs, information. So you're signing not only for the newsletter, but you can sign for more than that. And attend information session if available. We have a lot of those in Valencia and UCF. So I encourage you to follow up with that because that's a way. Maybe, you know what? Maybe they got so encouraged and so motivated that maybe they go to another university just because of those visits. Say, you know what? I don't like it like that. I want it to be in this one. I don't want to be on that one. So at least being exposed to that type of experience change their mindset, because they're always with people their age in high school, but this is different, and try to go when they have events. So I think that, so even sometimes you go with them and they don't feel comfortable because they don't see anybody with the parents in the university. I saw this picture in social media of this aunt taking the nephew to Valencia College, and he wanted her to be with him even till the door, and she said no. Over here, do you see around any other parent? You don't see anyone, so I trust you. Keep walking. And he took a picture, she took a picture, and she put it in social media. I felt that it was like very, very cute, but I also saw, how, the fears, and it's normal because it's a space that they never went before, that they think that they're gonna fail, and they don't want to fail. So it's different, but they could do it. We just have to encourage them and support them. Next. Scholarships. Spend time investing in scholarship programs and completing applications. So types of scholarships. University scholarship. When we talk about university scholarships, is because based on your grades, your weighted GPA, sometimes university, they're gonna offer you to go to their university full pay, 100% pay. But be careful, because sometimes private universities send you a scholarship of maybe 20,000. But when you compare, maybe the university is 60,000 a year when you can pay 3,000 a year here in UCF. So, be careful in people sending you, colleges sending you scholarships, because they found out about your son or your daughter when they fill it out for the form for standardized tests. When they fill it out for ACT, SAT, most of the time, a lot of university, because it's kind of a survey as well. So they put what they want to study, which university they wanted to go. And sometimes, they put certain university and you receive all of this information, but you have to be extremely careful, okay? So we have economic aid scholarship that's based in the income of the family. FAFSA have that type of grants, but also we're going to provide at the end of this presentation a lot of different scholarships opportunity that are for people that doesn't have citizenship, or they have out of state tuition. So we also have, based on that, we also have links for that type of situation. Athletic scholarship. The athletic scholarship works differently. And I always said to Hispanic Federation, for athletic scholarship, we should have only 1 hour presentation, because for athletic scholarship, it's not only being a good athlete in soccer, for example. The person needs a stable GPA, a good GPA, okay? Needs the community hour, needs to be a person that they know that even though he's gonna do that sport or she's gonna do that sport, they're going to retain him because he's used to have a heavy schedule with honor classes, community hours. So even if you're an athlete, you have to do all of these things, because when they do the package to give you a full scholarship, the package maybe can be because of the grades, because minority scholarship, because of the sport. But remember, they want to recruit a lot of athletes in that sport. So try to find out how you're going to deal with that as well. Also, try to find a place where your son or daughter can play. You can also find in the website of the university the coach of that sport, asking for different type of programs that they have. They have programs during summer. They can stay in the university so they can see how they work, and they can interact with other players that are older than them in the university. So there's a lot of opportunities with athletic scholarships. Community, I already mentioned that at the beginning, and corporate and religious. Also, religion has also scholarships. So do your research on that one, because if you're a person that go to church frequently, and it's these mega churches, most of them, they have scholarships. So I think that we just have to be very disciplined in how to create this drive of all of these scholarships, to do it at the time that you're supposed to do, because not all of them, you know, all of them have different requisites. So maybe one in 11th grade, other when you're a senior, other when you are already registered in the university. So you have to know all of that. Next. Prepare your materials. You know, you need to have this plastic. We should put like a plastic folder, you know, this plastic folder that have different folders, you know, different pockets. So I think that you have to have that in a corner, prepare with grades, with community service hours, extracurricular activities, standardized test scores, personal essays, and letter of recommendations. Extremely important, the letter of recommendations. And remember, you always always try to find that teacher that you feel identify, that you feel that you can help, and she can help you as well. You know, so the more you know that teacher, you know, that recommendation letter, imagine, you know, this teacher in 10th grade, and then, you know, in 12th grade, I know these students for 3 years, and he always la la la, and she always. So try to build relationships inside the school. We have great staff, great teachers. So, you know, even the dean of discipline, you know, imagine you are building relationship, you know, with of trust with the dean of discipline. So that's great, you know. So you never get in trouble. And the counselors, you know, they have a lot of work. They have more than 400 students. You know, but they're doing, you know, their best they could. But if you continue build that relationship, I know for sure they're gonna help you. So try to stay in contact with them, even the parents and the student, so that counselor recognize you and help you to achieve your goals. I'm sorry, I have dogs. Yes. So here we have scholarships. So if you want to take pictures of these links, this is different type of scholarships. This is more national. Another thing that I want to emphasize is that sometimes, you know, I heard parents say, no, my son has learning disabilities. You know, even for that, you can find a scholarship. Never think because of a situation or a challenge that you think that your son is not going to get a scholarship, even for ADHD, Down syndrome. So that's the story. That's the story. And I would never forget. I went when I went to this summit, ETCC was something like that, and the speaker was this girl that she couldn't speak, and she couldn't, you know, the reproduction of her voice was when she looked is this device that with her eyes she can speak. So when the device reproduced her voice, you know, take a longer than, you know, than you know, we all, you know, talking here, but excellent. You know, she was the speaker there, and the mother ended in living in Florida because every single time when she go to school, the teacher said, your daughter is not gonna go anywhere. She's not she's a nonverbal. She's not smart. She's not gonna become anybody. You know, that's you're gonna be with her the rest of your life. And the mother said, no, my daughter is smart. I know she can communicate with me. I know she understands me. So she moved to Florida. And in Orange County, she met the right people to make that student successful. And she achieved her BA, her master's degree. And when she was there speaking to the audience, one of the teachers raised the hand and said, I remember you. And she even mentioned the high school that they were studying. And she said, I remember you love stickers and you give us stickers, and we collect stickers to give it to you. You were always happy, always with a smile. But the mother continued to advocate for her. And it was here in Orange County Public Schools that daughter achieve her academic dreams. So all of us has a different story. All of us has different journeys, and we can achieve it. We just have to be persistent, create the strategy, don't give up. And everybody's gonna have different timelines, and it's perfectly fine. Next, Gabriel. How to help your student with preparation for the 2 exams. We're talking about ACT and SAT. Be supportive. Choose a trial date. By choosing a test date, your student knows how much time they have before the exam. Make sure the student practices and prepares ahead of time. Review the exam requirements together. On the day of the exam, help your students start the day off right. That's not the day to argue because the room is not clean. So that is the day to say you could do it. I know you're working hard, and if he did not study, don't tell him that you're gonna fail again because you didn't study. What you have to say is, you know what? All of these years in high school, I know you're gonna do right. You're gonna do okay. Just trust in yourself. The breakfast is good. That day, I remember when I was a teacher, we tried to give them even snacks, just in case they didn't eat breakfast. But we have to be supportive. ACT and SAT. After we have so many tests, another one. So imagine end of the year, end of the EOC, the FAFSA, now ACT, now SAT, and if they want to do the dual enrollment, the PERT, and then, and if they want to go to the technical college, the TAPE. So try to find all of these resources that they have for free, because I know they have different programs that they can practice, and they can even ask for different, they have books to help them in the media center, also in the public library. So take advantage of this. Don't give up. If he doesn't, if he or she doesn't feel comfortable the first time, they have different options to repeat the test. Write those days in the schedule. Use, and most of the time they are not using the agenda that we, at least I remember that I used the paper agenda all the time when I was in the university and in high school. But in this time, they have their iPhones and they're not using their calendar. So use your calendar, put alarms, and ask for resources. What are the free resources that I can find to study for SAT and SAT? Ask your media specialist. Also look into the computer. Sometimes they have several icons to practice. And also, even we have in internet, we can find practice tests, the previous test. You can see it over there. So you can see in which part they need to work it more. And sometimes even over there, even for AP classes, you go to AP Central and you can see how to practice different questions from previous year. The rubric, how they're gonna evaluate and assess those essays, those questions. So everything is there. We just have to look into there, and if you need help, ask for help. Never stay quiet. If your son is shy, you do it. You write an email, okay? Write an email to the teacher, write an email to the principal. If you don't have any response, write an email to the counselor, to the media specialist, okay? And if you have any question, let me know. Next, Gabriel. So those are the links for free preparation services. So we have the Let's Get Ready, the Orange County Library System, and the Osceola Library System. So take a picture of these links. We also have the SAT study guide in this link. You can take a picture. More resources for ACT, free online practice for the SAT, and guide for bilingual and English learner students. As I told you before, meet with the school counselor, extremely important. Talk to your advisor and make sure you have everything you need for graduation, cap and gown, that obviously you pay your fees, and that you return all your books to the library. Remember that if you own a book or something, you're not gonna graduate, so you have to finish everything. Discuss your college plans and ask for guidance. Don't wait till the end, okay? So on the application process, scholarship opportunities, and any additional resources. Discuss everything you've learned so far with your counselor, or so he or she can help you take the final steps. And remember, we have a college and career counselor that is in charge of that portion of the school, the seniors. So you can enrich that with his advice. Next. Academic performance. Are you taking the right classes to graduate? Focus on maintaining or improve your GPA. Take challenging courses such as advanced placement classes. Listen to this. Something that I always, sometimes when the student realize, oh my God, why I didn't take the honor classes, what I'm gonna do now? Sometimes in summer, take virtual school in summer. Something that I did with my daughter, my youngest daughter, is you know what? I want you to take virtual school during summer. So every summer she take virtual schools, because for me it was important that she's not, she did not like all AP or honor. She wasn't that type of student. She wasn't that academic. So I know, that I need to help her a little bit more. So the way that I help her, okay, you're gonna take honor classes during summer, and one class at least during summer is gonna make a difference, especially if a student is struggling in any other class or need to repeat a class. So something that you can do to make them improve. It can be 1 or 2 classes. Next. Participate in extracurricular activities. I already explained that. Can be clubs, sports, volunteer work, internship. Not everybody likes sports, okay? And not everybody likes clubs. But maybe they like internships. They want to do internships in the hospital, or maybe they want to be a volunteer in the shelter for pets, for cats and dogs. There's different type of internships. And not everybody needs to be in the same thing. Maybe he loves music. Maybe he loves to take pictures. There's a lot of opportunities in the public library as well during summer. But not doing anything is not an option. We want them to be inspired, and we want to take every opportunity to make them inspired in what they want. That's gonna wake him up, wake him up in what they want to do in their future. So look for opportunities, and in the public library, I think it's also a great resource that we have that most of the time we don't use it. So for the financial aid help, here is the links, something that you have to do, okay? And it's based in the income of the family. Next. Stay organized. Stay organized and meet deadlines. Keep track of all application components, including transcript, test scores, essays, letters of recommendation, and financial aid forms. Send everything well in advance of deadlines. Prepare for interviews. Some colleges may require or offer. Colleges may require or offer. Let me explain that a little bit. What happened is that when we have there, not all the universities do the interviews, but Ivy Leagues or very recognized universities do the interviews because they really want to know if the person who submit the application and submit that essay with the, remember that I told you the story, all of those challenges, they want to make sure that it's for real. They want to see that face. They want to make sure that they're choosing the right person. And I remember, interviews of my daughter, Samuel Vilches, the examples that I provided, they have more than one interview, because most of the times, these stories, they're making a difference. It's very challenging for students that struggle a lot to overcome so many obstacles and continue to thrive and getting good grades. So they want to know that this is not a story, based in hypothetical situation. They want to make sure that it was true. So very important to have those skills. If you need help, I know for sure the counselor, the teacher. I'm a strong believer in mentorship programs. But I'm here as well. I can refer you to different people, places in my office, but I know for sure that you have a great Parent Academy office that I know they can help you and guide you. I know the multilingual department, they're doing amazing with our community, with the Global Center, they're doing so much, they're doing great. And I know for sure that if you ask for help, they're going to find the resource for you. Next. You have to finish scholarship applications. So scholarships are gifts. They do not need to be reimbursed. They are offered by schools, employers, individuals, private companies, nonprofit organizations, communities, religious groups, and professional and social organizations. Here we have a lot of link so you can have as well. And there's a lot of opportunities for scholarships. Next. There's different type of scholarship even when the student is already in college. However, it is best to apply during the junior and senior year of high school. This is the time when the student should know the deadline for the scholarship. Remember, use the calendar, use your phone, okay? He or she is applying for. Review and make sure he or she has all the documents that are being requested. Letters of recommendation, proof of volunteerism, transcript, and essay. Some scholarships also ask you to meet with them for an in-person or virtual interview with them for an, we'll repeat it there, Gabriel. Next. More resources, you can take picture of this. So more resources for scholarships. Remember, every scholarship is different. I know that the governor of Florida, they also, I don't know if they still doing the same thing, but I think the first lady, they do a scholarship every year during the Hispanic Heritage Month. So look into that, because during Hispanic Heritage Month, we're gonna find scholarships as well. When you another question. Okay. So university selection. There are more than 3,300 colleges and universities in the United States alone. Students generally apply to between 4 and 8 universities. Research and guidance help students create a proper list. Next. Remember, visit the universities and open days. They have open house as well. So remember when I told you apply for the newsletter. The newsletter is going to help you a lot. It's going to keep you updated in all the events that they're doing. Visiting a university is essential in the university selection process, because maybe something that you see in the website is not the same when you visit the place. Keep your options open. Each college on the list should be an option that the student would be happy with. Students might have outreach colleges and safety colleges. So think about that, okay? If you think that you want to stay here, if you're gonna, everything is a different plan. So you have to sit down. It's gonna be overwhelming at the beginning, but once you, and that's why we encourage you to start in 10th grade, because it's gonna be easier than at the end. It's kind of a game because you already do so many research and you create out of this timeline that you're gonna feel more comfortable and you're gonna trust more, in the decisions that you're gonna make. What makes a great list? A student's college list should contain between 6 and 8 colleges and universities. Classify these colleges by category: scope, probable, or safety. Next. Careers. Although it is helpful for students to have an idea of what they would like to specialize in, it is not necessary when choosing a university. A liberal arts education can open many doors. And that is something that always have to be available. If you don't know what you're going to study, so start for something that all the basic credits are going to be in every at least in the majority of the careers. How do universities choose students? Admissions officer reviews student records and makes selection based on the college's standards and needs. They consider students who are graded based on academic achievement and scores, are diverse in terms of demographics and diversity, special admittees, legacy, adley, special talents, etc., previously underrepresented students. So they try to have a diverse group of students, in different groups, and it's part of the culture of the university, because they also have grants based in the demographic that they have in the university. We have a lot of foundations that contribute to different university, and if they don't have certain demographics, they can lose their grants. So they try to be very diverse. About ratings, having good grades is great, but colleges also value steady improvement. Colleges consider courses taken beyond grades and expect to see a student have such a challenging academic load. So it is extremely important that the universities see that you are challenging yourself with honor classes, AP classes. So that is very important for them to accept you. You are done applying to college. Now what? When you apply, you can have an acceptance letter or you can have a deferral letter. So the acceptance letter, you have been admitted to the university and have been offered a place in the incoming class. Congratulations. And there's different ways of accepting you. Deferral letter is the college tells you that you have what it takes to get in, but you still don't stand out enough to be admitted, and you're on a waiting list. What I say to my students, if you have 6 options, forget about the one who defer you. Just go with the people who accept you and make a decision, because if you just got excited and you did not make a decision after you were accepted, you can lose your seat as well. Next. Rejection letter. We regret to inform you that your application for admission has been rejected. Colleges may reject you due to the number of students who applied. And in letter of financial assistance is that one, they accepted you, and you say yes, they're gonna send you this letter, the letter of financial assistance. A financial aid award letter is the notification students receive informing them how much financial aid an educational institution is willing to offer. So the rejection is, sometimes because they have a lot of people, sometimes because they did not choose you. Don't forget about that. You have 6 options. From those 6 options, you're gonna have people that are gonna say yes. So just focus in the one who say yes, and in the future, if you want to transfer to the university, to the other one, because you created a great GPA, now you are more mature, you can transfer. You always have that option. But once you receive the letter of financial assistance is when you say, I don't think so. I don't have that type of money and they're not going to help me. Or I have these scholarships that already say yes. I'm going to be able to to stay here. So let me talk to them if they did not receive that. Make a choice. Once you receive acceptance letters and financial aid packages, carefully evaluate your options and choose the college that best suits your goals and needs. Okay, now you are for real in the university. But until you don't make those decisions, even if they say yes in the acceptance letter, you might lose it. So you have to make a choice, and they're gonna give you due dates to respond to them. So those are different, scholarships for students with ADHD. So the name is there, how much money they can give you. So it's Ann Ford and Allegra Ford Thomas scholarships. This is one, from 10,000 to 5,000, 2 or 4 year undergraduate degree. Excellent scholarship. We also have the Rice Scholarship Foundation. This is currently on pause, but worth checking for updates because they're always improving or updating, not this year, then the next year. So be on top of that. We have there the link is 500 to 2,500. And sometimes we say, but 500, I'm not going to do that. But depends, because 500 here, 2,000 there, 1,000 on the other one. When you see, you have the whole bachelor already paid. So every money counts. The Inside scholarship, also for students with ADHD, a location is in Oregon, Washington, California. This is with documented disabilities. Disability Care Center scholarship. This is between $500 to $1,000. And this is for higher education. Most of the time, we don't have scholarship for higher education. So this is impressive because most of the time we have to pay it with loan. So the Microsoft Disability Scholarship, 5,000 per year. So the website is Microsoft Disability Scholarship. And we have also national, Gabriel, go back. The National Scholarship for Immigrant Students, the Dream USA Scholarship from they up to 33,000 toward a bachelor's degree. So the Dream.us is the website, and also the Golden Door Scholars. That's the DACA undocumented student with a strong interest in STEM career. It's full tuition at partner universities. Next. The MALDEF Scholarship for Latino students, regardless of immigration status, varies. So going to the website. Also the Hispanic Scholarship Fund. A lot of students here in Central Florida receive that type of scholarship. So go and check, 500 to 5,000. Next. Yeah. Ascend Educational Fund from 2,500 to 20,000. Next. For the person who is asking about freshmen can apply for, you have to go into the website. Every scholarship is different. Sometimes when it's for freshmen or 10th graders, they're gonna keep the money until you get accepted to the university and they send it there. So you have to check. Florida Immigration Coalition Scholarship. This is in Florida. FLIC also have scholarship. We also have the Metro Orlando Hispanic Heritage Scholarship Funds up to 3,000. Next. So that's the last slide. Here we can see a QR code, and the QR code is an assessment for me. So if you don't like it, you tell them that you don't like it, and if you like it, let them know. Any scholarship information for Asians? I think yes. We have to be intentional in the research, but if you can communicate here with the Parent Academy so we can stay in contact, and I can get back to you through them, and I can send it to you. But it's a great question. I think that we should do something like that, like based in different cultural background, because now we have a lot of people trying to support Black students, Asian students, so we have people that when they are for Black students, we have great opportunities here in Central Florida. I have here the Orlando Alumni Chapter Scholarship. I think it's a sorority or fraternity giving that those scholarships. They have a lot of scholarships there. The 100 Black Men Foundation also provided a lot of scholarship for our Black community. So yeah, we have a lot of opportunities. If you have any type of questions in following up our presentation, you can do it through
Yes.
the Parent Academy, and I
Yes,
will be
yes.
more than happy to
Yes,
help.
thank you, Joanna. I think, all the information that you shared with the family was awesome and, perfectly aligned with all, that is happening Hispanic Heritage Month, and this Saturday I was just invite, all the families. We have our Fall College and Career Fair at Lake Buena Vista High School, where parents just, will be, have the opportunity to, speak with the Hispanic Heritage, people for more questions. And also we're going to have 80 college and universities there, right? To ask questions, like Joanna mentioned before, explore, other opportunities. We're going to have sessions for the parent students about NCAA, how the student that maybe want to look for application to a scholarship or get something through that path. We're going to have all our OCPS career, specialists also having session, asking questions. Gilberto wanna drop, the link in the chat for you to register for the event. Will be 10 to 1 p.m. And I encourage, everybody to go there, continue talking about all the resources, all the information that we have, available for them, because that's, this is perfect. I am super happy to have, this partnership, this collaboration with Hispanic Heritage, because that's what we want, support the new strategic plan, help, parents to plan for the future of our kids, starting early, like I just say, 8th grade, or if you are in 12th grade, we have resources, we have information. It's something that we can do to, plan and get to, to that next step. Thank you, everybody. Great question. Like Joanna say, and Gilberto, help us to put our information in the chat, our email, parentacademy@ocps.com. Thank you, Mariel. Mariel was asked, answering all these questions. She have a lot of, experience with 4 daughters, getting in college. But yes, if you have questions, please email us. We're gonna do our best to connect you with the right resources, with the right people. And thank you, everybody. Have a good night. See you October 7th for the Spanish session.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.